Good morning, everyone. We're going to call this meeting to order. It is 9 a.m. Today is Wednesday, September 24th, 2025. We are at the new town hall. All town council members are present, town attorney, town clerk, town manager, and deputy town manager. If you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by invocation, then the Pledge of Allegiance. Get it right one of these days.
As we gather here today, we come as individuals with diverse perspectives, backgrounds, and beliefs, yet united by a shared commitment to serve our community with integrity and care. As we begin the important work ahead in both this meeting now and in this evening's hearings, may we quietly center ourselves, bringing focus, intention, and respect to this space and to one another. Let our discussions be thoughtful, our decisions well thought, and our actions rooted in a desire to bring peace, progress, and a unity to all those we represent. May we listen with open minds, speak with compassion, and lead with courage. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Next, we have approval of the final agenda. There are a couple items that will be removed. Item number C, Resolution 25-293, under Administrative Agenda, will be removed and added at a later date. And under Town Attorney items, item B, the settlement agreement, will be removed and added at another date. Are there
Mayor,
any-
I'll move to approve as amended.
All right, we got a motion from Counselor King. I'll second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries unanimously. Next is public comment. Madam Clerk,
I have nobody signed up.
anyone like to speak in public comment? All right, seeing none, we'll close public comment. Local achievements and recognitions. Counselor Safford.
I feel remiss for not doing this at our last meeting, but we had an island icon pass away a couple weeks ago, Betty Simpson, and my deepest sympathies to her family. She, as I said, she was an icon. She was on the first LPA. She was the longest standing member of the LPA still to this date. She was on every committee. She always did it with a smile on her face, and that lady exhibited grace, and I'm gonna miss her.
Yes, she was. Anything else?
That's it.
Counselor Woodson?
I'm going to go on the opposite end of that. Joe Boo Fest. We had our final, I think, of the season Joe Boo Fest last Saturday, I believe it was. And he's doing his job is all I've got to say. We're out of the zone for now. So let's just keep praying to the gods, right?
Whichever one you need to.
Whatever one you need to, just keep him away.
All right, anything else?
No.
Vice Mayor?
I just wanted to recognize Kim Boxa, who's the principal for the sort of transient Fort Myers Beach Elementary School. She is being transferred to another middle school. It's another happy for her. She did an excellent job with our kids and our parents during a very difficult time. She filled some very, very big shoes, but she did a great job, and she'll be missed, and certainly, sadly, another troubling indicator of the lack of certainty about our elementary school, and I'm hoping that we can have a conversation about that as a group in terms of strategy, maybe during the town manager items. But thank you, Kim, for your service.
Counselor King?
I have nothing, Mayor.
I do not. I also did not bring up Betty at the last meeting, and I had the privilege of serving with her many years on the board cab committee, and she was always good at everything from cupcakes to leading meetings. So she will surely be missed. Next is the adversary committee's items, reports, and appointments. Adversary.
Well,
Evidently, I can't read today. Thank you. Oh, man, of all the days. The only thing I wanted to bring up about this was that there was some confusion because of the word appointments, that the appointments for the committees will be the first meeting in October. Do you have that off the top of your head, Madam Clerk, as to what that date is?
October 6th.
October 6th. Okay. So people were concerned that we were going to be picking committee members today, but that is not the case. That
Oh,
will be
no,
on the
that-
6th.
That appointments is on there every agenda.
Yeah, I know, but not everybody looks every week, so I just thought I'd bring it up so everybody knows when it'll be. Next is the approval of the minutes for the town council meeting, September 11th, 2025, and the town council budget hearings from September 11th, 2025. Is there any changes or an approval, motion to approve the minutes?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All right, got a motion by Counselor King, seconded by Counselor Woodson. Any further destruction? Destruction.
You're on a roll.
This is why I don't drink this vitamin C water. It's all Megan's fault.
Ooh.
Well, now I'm really in trouble.
Yeah.
You went there.
I did. All right. A motion by Counselor King, seconded by Counselor Woodson. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries unanimously. Next is the consent agenda. We do not have anything. Obviously, there's nothing to be removed. We have no public hearings, which brings us to our administrative agenda. The first item is the proposed 2026 meeting schedule. Madam Clerk, do you want to take this or do you want?
I can. It's fairly self-explanatory. The highlighted in yellow dates, they conflict with the Lee County TDC meetings. So those would be up for discussion.
Everyone has had a chance to look at the proposed schedule. Does anyone have any conflicts with that schedule? So you would need to know if we want to go to either Wednesday or,
Pick another day, either
Okay.
way. And I believe as of right now, the calendar for next year is pretty open. So we can pick any day you wish. We can go the day before, we can try and go the week after.
does anyone have any objection to just going to Wednesday for those 4 meetings versus that Thursday?
Yeah, I think that's a good plan.
The Wednesday prior, the day before.
John, you all right with that?
I'm okay with that. I think that would require then, but they've been doing it this year, the MRF committee, to move to Thursdays then. So, but I don't see that as a problem.
Right, we haven't set the committee schedules yet, so.
They usually meet on a
we'll move
Wednesday, I
around
think.
those
But
meeting
yeah.
days.
Jim, does that work for you?
That'd be fine, thank you.
Karen?
I think that's good.
Scott?
Yes, I'm all for that.
All right.
If we could, Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
Madam Clerk, once this gets codified, if you'd be so kind as to, I hate to do this, but slide a hard copy of the schedule in our boxes, that'd be great. Thank you.
Wait, we have boxes?
Don't we?
We
Some-
used to. Do we have, the old town hall, we had them. I don't know if we have them now, do we?
It must.
I think they're in the base.
Stuff.
I was gonna say mine's gonna have 3 years worth of stuff in it. That was a little old. That's a little flashback there.
Sorry.
All right, if there's no other discussion, is a motion to approve the now adjusted proposed 2026 meeting to move those one,
So
two,
moved.
and a motion by Counselor Safford,
Second.
seconded by Counselor King. Any further discussion? Counselor Safford,
Aye.
Counselor King,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Adderholt.
Aye.
Counselor Woodson.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. That motion carries unanimously. Next is the special event for the farmer's market at Times Square. You want to come up and say a few things? Does anybody have any issues with? Love to hear about it. Just remind everybody who may be coming back to their condos this year, hopefully.
This is Linda Miller from Shop Local Productions, and we run the farmers markets, Santini and Moss Marina, and also Fort Myers Beach, which we're here for today for the one at Times Square. It starts in October on Fridays from 9 a.m. to 1. And we are working with a produce vendor to have produce at all 3 locations. So that's going to be pretty exciting, mostly fruits at the downtown locations because there's less kitchens up there. And we did a mock setup today, Santini, just trying it out. And so Santini and Moss Marina. Santini starts on Tuesdays and Thursdays in November, and Moss Marina starts on Wednesdays in November as well. And they're all 9 a.m. to 1. And we're excited to bring way more tourists and things to do, free to attend events, family fun to our markets.
Very good. Anyone have any questions for Linda? Scott?
Linda, what's your max vendor for each location? Just so people know.
We're kind of small, just about 40.
That's what I
That's
thought.
what we're kind of looking at.
And are you full at this point?
We are not full. A lot of vendors don't really want to start till November. So we're working on it. And we just get a few applications every day.
And where do people apply if they want to participate?
If vendors are interested in applying, they go to 41markets.com. All the rates, rules, application are all online.
Can you say that again just a little slower?
Sure. 41 markets, the number's 41
Markets, okay.
markets.com. I like this new microphone.
We haven't heard any complaints yet.
It's really awesome.
All right, Karen, any questions for Linda?
I have none.
Vice Mayor?
Good morning, Linda. I was just curious, sometimes the produce market is there actually, which is wonderful, by the way, is there even more frequently than the farmer's market that meets as well? Is that going to be the strategy, or is that yet to be determined?
We are still working out a schedule, but I think it's the produce trailer down at Santini. We don't have an ETA on it yet. We're trying to still get that in the next week or two. And then I think they're going to be off on Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday, and then open the other days.
That's great. And could you just very slowly go through the first farmer's market date of opening for each of the 3 locations?
Sure. So Fort Myers Beach is the first one to open on Fridays in October. That's October 3rd.
You said Fort Myers Beach. Do you mean
Times Square.
Times Square? Okay. Yep.
And then Santini Tuesdays and Thursdays in November. And
When
then,
you say November, you mean the first Tuesday in November it would start?
yes.
Okay.
And then Moss Marina is on Wednesdays, first Wednesday in November.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just make sure John doesn't have any questions.
No questions, just looking forward to it. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Linda. All right, is there any further discussion or a motion for the special event for the farmer's market at Times Square?
I'll move that special event, Mayor.
All right, got a motion by Counselor King. I'll second. Any further discussion? Counselor King?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Vice Mayor Adderall?
Aye.
Counselor Woodson?
Aye.
And Counselor Safford?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item C has been removed. That brings us to item D. This is Resolution 25-275 for fiscal year 26 Florida State Lobbyists. This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Fort Myers Beach, Florida, authorizing the town manager to renew and amend the existing agreement with the town's Florida State lobbyist, Ronald L. Book, PA, in the amount of $45,000 and providing for an effective date. Will?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just say you've read through the resolution. The only thing I'd add is I've only been here a short time, but I feel very strongly Ron Book has represented us very well at the state level through many successful appropriations and public assistance efforts. So I think to continue having Ronald Book, PA firm represent us would be in the best interest of the town.
All right, thanks, Will. I probably worked with him the most hand in hand over the last few years, and I can tell you he has been well worth the $45,000 with the amount of appropriations he's helped us bring in. So I will gladly move this item. Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
3
sir.
years ago, I never would have imagined doing this, but I second your motion.
Amazing what you didn't know back then, right? All right, got a motion by Mayor Aller, seconded by Vice Mayor Adderholt. Any further discussion? I'm an aye. Vice Mayor Adderholt?
Aye.
Counselor King?
Aye.
Counselor Woodson?
Aye.
And Counselor Safford?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next is our final public comment.
Looks like we have somebody.
There is someone here? Oh, hey, Tom, come on in. No, we know. Come on up, Mr. Houghton. You made it just in time.
Lucky, I guess.
Yeah, right?
Good morning, everyone. I was just made aware that
Just say your name, Tom.
Tom Houghton,
Thanks.
I'm owner of Lola Surfside Restaurant, operates in Times Square. I've been working there for 15 years now. I'm here today to talk about the farmer's market. I was all for the idea of the farmer's market when it was first brought up after Ian as a way to get people back to the beach. And the foot traffic would be excellent, but unfortunately, there's been a lot of negative effects that have come from it. I've been on the phone this morning after just being made aware of this, and all the owners that I talked to, I haven't talked to all of them, but they were all against bringing the farmers market back to Times Square. Obstructing the front of the businesses, competing with the businesses, having cars coming in and out of Times Square in the middle of the afternoon on a busy Friday when we're not allowed to even bring our own cars into Times Square. I think it's a better fit to move it back to where it was last year. I think we all had a sigh of relief when it was moved over to that area. But I would just hope that you would pause and get some input from the Times Square owners before you move forward with this. Also, I can just tell you that my own personal experiences with the people that are managing the event, they've hung up on my property owner. Conversations have not been productive whatsoever, trying to remedy in the past. So very concerned. Hope you'll reconsider. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Anyone else? All right, we will close final public comment. Town manager's items. You want Frankie to? Huh? It's a town manager's item. If he's okay with it, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I've got some other things, but let Frankie go first. He's cover that in and one more item, and then I'll go with my
So
remainder.
just to be clear, the bollards that are locked on Times Square will remain locked. There is no vehicular traffic in that area. We're allowing foot traffic only. So the people that are setting up have to have booths and what that can be carried in, easily carried out. And the event is over at 1 o'clock each day.
And Frankie, are we going to make sure that I noticed last time that they would park in front of those bollards and then block traffic? Are we going to make them, or are we working with the county to make them go into Lynn Hall Park to unload?
Yes, sir.
Because that's probably where they're going to park anyway.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have any questions for Frankie on the? And I know that there was issues in the past. We did receive calls about vendors blocking the businesses. I'm assuming
That's
we've
why we
corrected
moved
that.
everybody out, and they go. We showed them exactly where the markings were. They're good at marking their spaces. As you guys know, when we started this, I was out there pretty much every Friday morning, and making sure everything was running good at that time. I haven't been lately, but they're very good at moving their people away from the businesses after they've been told. And again, with those bollards being locked, there'd be no vehicular traffic whatsoever in Times Square. We did that because we did not know the extent of the underlayment being compromised from Hurricane Helene and Milton, and we just continue to keep it closed until we can make such repairs.
Well, maybe it'd be a good idea for the town to reach out and facilitate a meeting between Linda and her people and the Times Square merchants, just so everybody understands what the rules and regulations are and what's actually going to be happening, so everybody's on the same page.
Sure.
So that maybe it's a little more cohesive than it has been, it sounds like.
Will do, Mr. Mayor.
You have another thing, or?
Yeah, go ahead
yeah,
and cover the pool.
So as you all know, we're actively involved with the CDBGR funds and trying to get those projects moving. One of the projects that we have is our community pool. We had a applicant come and interview with the selection committee. The selection committee did not feel the strongest moving forward with that applicant. We reached out to the county with our weekly meetings that we have just prior to this meeting. We were given advice from the county to pursue the possibility of re-advertising to the original vendors that had applied. In doing so, we could eliminate time off the back end of that advertising. According to our procurement rules, they mirror the counties. It's usually a 30-day period, or 30-day window. Through their advice, they're saying that there is no HUD regulation for advertising, and that with the blessing of a town council, or in their case, the BOCC, they can reduce that advertising time down to 15 days. So I'm standing here before you today to ask if you'd be willing to reduce the amount of advertising time to re-advertise the pool project for the CDBGR that we currently have.
And Nancy, that doesn't give you any pause, but giving direction to shrink it to 15 days versus the 30, because there's no requirements, you said, from HUD?
There is no HUD requirement whatsoever. And this was given us by the procurement person from the county, as well as their representative that's running the CDBGR program.
So essentially you're saying going back out to bid for the pool with a 15-day period
Correct.
versus a 30.
Correct.
Nancy, you have any issues with that?
I don't like giving advice,
Oh.
on the fly. So if I can just work with Frankie on the details, but if possible, you would like to have it reduced. Is that?
I would support it,
direction?
yes, if you
Okay.
feel that there's no legal
Yes.
challenges.
So I think the direction to me is to work with Frankie and see if we can accommodate that.
Okay. I have no issues with that direction. Counselor King, you have any issues?
None whatsoever.
Vice Mayor?
Consent.
Counselor Woodson?
Agreed.
Counselor Stafford?
Agree.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, thank you for that. I'll continue. Update on emergency temporary placement permits. As of yesterday was the final day of the temporary placement permits. As of yesterday evening, we received 40 applications for emergency temporary placement permits. Approximately 40. I think some more came in a little bit later, which is good. Of those, they're in various stages of the review and approval process right now. I've reviewed approximately 15 packets so far, returned some with some more questions, and have approved one extension, emergency temporary placement permit, and have a couple more ready for approval today. So the process, is good news there. The process, as we had hoped, is moving forward in a good direction, and we're receiving a lot of applications. And those that did not get their emergency temporary placement permits in time, Mr. Yazzo and his team will now move forward in the next step of issuing notices of violations on those properties. But I still would encourage everybody, even if they haven't gotten the application in by last night, to continue the application process. And we will continue to process every application as we receive them and try to move people into either an extension or into the path towards removing that temporary structure from the island. I have seen, and Tom has updated me too, that we've seen some people have voluntarily removed their temporary structures by the deadline yesterday. That's also a good thing, and we encourage people who may not meet all the criteria for the ETPP to go ahead and remove that structure. Or if they have any questions before they apply, just reach out to us and we'll answer those. Any questions?
If I can add,
Yeah.
our team has worked with Tom and his team, and we have developed the process with a flow chart as well as forms in the event that an extension was not requested. And code will move forward with those that did not have an extension approved and by the deadline. I also wanted just to comment that even when you are cited with a notice of violation, there is a compliance period. So that would be the time where there might be some discussion about extending it. However, we would have to get some direction from council to allow some additional extensions to be filed because the deadline by council was set for yesterday at 5:00. So there still is room to negotiate and talk, but we may be coming back to you for approvals.
Yeah, I guess what was the point of having a deadline if we're still encouraging people to apply after the deadline?
They will receive notices of violations after.
Oh, you mean to come into compliance?
To come into
Okay, got
compliance,
it.
correct. Yeah, they're still, as of this morning, they will receive a violation if there's still a non-compliant structure on their property.
Okay.
If they haven't already received, and many have.
Right, but any further extension would have to have authorization from the town council because I believe the direction from town council was we would only allow those applications to be presented by the deadline period.
Thanks for that clarification, Nancy.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get.
Understood, yeah.
What else you got?
Good news, at least we think it's good news so far, but still under evaluation, is just a couple of days ago, we got notified by Lee County Sheriff Office that they found our boat that was stolen last year. And we have recovered it from the location where Lee County found it, and it's now in our PW yard. So Curtis and his team are working with Tom and Talisa on the process to investigate this, and we'll work with our insurance to see, since we already received payout for that, to see what the process is to leases in coordination with them. But I just wanted to let the council know that that property has been recovered and it is in our PW lot. The status of it is still under review. From what we can see, just as a cursory review outside, it's on the trailer. It was on the trailer when it was recovered. The motor is still there.
Wow.
By the looks of things, it's in good condition, but we haven't really put it to the test yet. So more to follow on that.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it may just be the beginning of another, but we'll see. So the FEMA update, I'll turn it over to Tracy real quick for an update with our FEMA CAV.
So each week we're having multiple town internal meetings to take a look at the properties that still remain non-compliant according to FEMA status. The good news is with our conversations with FEMA this week, we've been able to collaborate/debate with FEMA on the compliance of some of our properties, and we have been successful. This week, we were able to get approximately 10 additional properties into compliance with our conversations with FEMA. We have submitted some properties last week that we're waiting on their decision, if you will, and we'll continue working with them through October. A lot of times it's just paperwork and pointing out where it is in the paperwork, or if we have a code case, they want to see that code case closed if they are compliant. So some paperwork details, but we're excited at the process. We still probably have about 70 properties that are considered non-compliant. Residents have been calling in once they received their letter from the town that, hey, your property was on the list. And so we're thankful for all those residents who are calling in and submitting additional paperwork, communicating with their contractors to submit additional things. So we're moving along.
Very good.
Thank you, Tracy. Yesterday, at our request, we had a meeting with Dave Harner and his team at County to talk about our efforts here and the council's direction on wave mitigation wall and the possibilities for future wave mitigation wall efforts here in the town. Dave Harner and his team were very receptive. It was a good discussion. Elizabeth Fountain joined the conversation and provided information to the county. Dave, his team, their engineers, they asked some good questions of Elizabeth, and she had a lot of great answers, as was no surprise for any of us. Going forward, they've agreed to work with us on our efforts, and we're very interested in considering at this point, more to follow, but considering including such, the possibility for wave mitigation in their upcoming efforts in some of the county parks that are along our beaches in the same vicinity. So I think it was a positive first step in working with the county on this. Many more discussions to come.
Very good.
Next, I'm happy to announce again, we had another great meeting with the Diocese of Venice yesterday. This time they had not just renderings and even more detailed renderings, but they had plans for the Church of the Ascension rebuild. Their intention is to begin that rebuild. Really, they'd like to begin before the end of the year. Very ambitious. We promised to assist them in that effort as best as we could. They've already been talking with some of Frankie's team. They have already been talking with floodplain managers and everything to make sure they're doing everything correctly. And they are ready to come in very soon with Frankie and his team and the planners and Frankie's permitting folks to start that process. In addition, we found out yesterday afternoon after the meeting that the bishop has set October 10th, 2 p.m. on October 10th at St. Leo the Great. They're going to have a public information hearing. The bishop is going to hold a public information hearing at, again, 2 p.m. October the 10th at St. Leo the Great in Bonita Springs, where they will officially release to the public their renderings and their plans and get public input on those.
Very good.
And then finally, Mr. Vice Mayor, you wanted to talk, I believe, during my time here about Fort Myers Beach Elementary School. Tracy and I have continued our regular meetings as directed by the council with staff of the district to work through the remaining requirements of the interlocal agreement and make sure that we are holding up our end of that agreement and work to hold the district accountable for them living up to their end of that agreements. Those meetings have, I think we've reached a point where I would say we've done it. I would say we've done everything we can. I'm not so sure that they have. And we're seeing, indications of an impasse, I think, if you will, of whether or not the district is going to move forward with physically renovating and rebuilding the school to reopen on Fort Myers Beach Elementary, on Fort Myers Beach, I'm sorry. So we've continued with, as we found to the public records request, I did receive one more response to the public records request from the district as far as did they request any approval from FEMA to reallocate, redistribute the funds they had received. I still think that the response I received was not adequate. It didn't answer the question. So at this time, as far as for my next steps, if you're the council, I know would like to know would be, I think we will engage with our lobbyists and with our elected officials and go direct to FEMA, to submit a request direct to FEMA and ask for assistance from our elected officials.
If I could, Mr. Town Manager, before we get into the broader issues, could you be a little more granular on what you just discussed in terms of the information you were provided as to whether the school district asked FEMA to redirect those funds? Could you explain the correspondence that you got and what your interpretation of that correspondence was?
Really, I received responses of the detailed project requests that they submitted. And
maybe just for people who are watching, take it up 10,000, just give an overview of, just set the table and then get into that more granular answer if you would.
So if what you're asking, Mr. Vice Mayor, is what initiated the public records request?
Yes.
Was a notification that we received from Representative Donald's office that FEMA grant money had been allocated and distributed to Lee County schools for the renovation and rebuilding of Fort Myers Beach Elementary School and associated structures around the school here on the island, of the tune of over $11 million. In that, we began discussions with the school district. My staff and their staff began discussions about, this is great. What are your plans? We'd like to see exactly how you plan to use that funding and what your timeline is going to be. And we're here to help. And we received responses of, this is not new money. This is money we had already been allocated and we already distributed for projects across the district. And we asked, then I submitted a public records request, more granular public records request of, show us the project worksheets, show us your applications to FEMA. We'd like to see exactly what you asked for, exactly what you received. And then if you did request permission from FEMA to redistribute the funds to other projects, please provide us with that request and FEMA's approval. I received 2 out of 3 of those questions, basically. And in going back and asking for submitting an amendment or an addition to the request to the school district for clarification on question 1, and if they had answers for question 1, I received response to the effect of asked and answered, pretty much. Said that what they provided was what they have, which I still feel is insufficient. And I believe that now there's a possibility we could maybe ask FEMA for that information and clarity on the process as FEMA sees it from their end. That's where I stand.
I don't want to belabor this, but just curious, we've had what is supposed to be a collaborative effort with our friends at the Lee County School District. And did you just request this information, or did you actually have to file a public records request from the school district? Because that seems odd in a collaborative relationship.
I had to file a public records request.
Thank you.
Well, I don't know how far down the rabbit hole we want to go, but we have been working with our local representatives to try to get some answers as to the grant funding. And I think, Will, you covered it pretty well. We did receive a response through our congressional office from FEMA specifically about the reallocation of those funds. It's basically what we expected. I'll be happy to read it for the record if you'd like. It says, the Lee County School District, as a subrecipient, should approach its Florida Division of Emergency Management God, I can't even talk today. Management programmatic reviewer Rachel Langston to discuss the eligible ways to use the funds. The state may consider asking FEMA for what's called an alternative project. An alternative project is when a subrecipient and the state determine that the public welfare is not best served by restoring the function of the damaged facility. When this occurs, FEMA must grant approval to apply public assistance funding toward a different facility or facilities. FEMA has not received from the state a request for an alternative project. So I read that as they have not submitted any paperwork to use those funds that were granted for Fort Myers Beach Elementary School for another project. And this was as of yesterday. So I think I would like to give staff direction to work with Nancy to see what our next steps are, both through FEMA, through our congressional, through Senator Scott's office, who is also copied on this email, who has been inquiring on our behalf as well, to see what our next steps are all around, not just through FEMA and finding about some answers, but both legally, what we can do as next steps to ensure that the ILA agreement that we're adhering to, what we could do to make sure that they adhere to it. But you want consensus? Counselor King, do you have any issue with that direction?
I have none whatsoever. Please go for it.
I have no issue with that direction. I think we've got two paths that we're on right now. One with respect to these FEMA funds, which appears to add insult to injury as to what we have been through as a community. I think it's important for our town attorney to also explore how the FEMA issue, not in isolation, but also as sort of in collaboration with the interlocal agreement. I think it's important to look at both of those dynamics to determine compliance. And we have tried, and the mayor made an extra effort this last 6 months to reach out and to try to build that coalition for the school. And I know our town manager and our assistant town manager, the former principal of the beach school, Fort Myers Beach Elementary School, have made yeoman efforts to try to reach out and build relationships and work positively with our friends at the Lee County School District. And it just, from an appearance standpoint, it appears as if not only those efforts have been stagnant, shall we say, in terms of the response from the Lee County School District. We're certainly hopeful that there will be a proposal soon to both temporary and long-term for our beach school. The school superintendent is on record as saying she wants to have a beach school. So I'm a bit confused by the lack of communication from the Lee County School District. I know a lot of parents who are extremely disappointed and continue to live in this flux, if you will, not knowing where their kids are going to be. There's people that are wanting to come into the Fort Myers Beach Elementary School. Their kids, their parents with kids that are in the elementary school and also in other schools. There's some that are just making their life, they're trying to plan their life around what's going to happen to this beach school. And to hold them in this abyss, if you will, seems particularly cruel given what everyone has been through as a result of Hurricane Ian. So I think for the town attorney to look both globally at what our options are for compliance for the interlocal agreement, and to also, again, pursue with FEMA and our federal representatives some clarity on what happened to those FEMA dollars. It's quite frankly sad that it's come to this, because I do think there are people on the Lee County School Board who are trying to help us, but they seem, it appears as if they've not had a lot of support or encouragement from the administration at the Lee County School District, which is disappointing in and of itself. So I certainly don't want to cast aspersions on all involved, because there have been members of the Lee County School Board who have been very kind and supportive and encouraging to us. We're just hoping for that same level of commitment from the Lee County School Administration. I think I probably ought to stop there.
All right. I think direction has been given. All right. I forgot.
Nothing further.
Just for the record,
Yeah.
I want to consent as well.
Oh, I thought you already did. No. All right. So
I don't think she did.
And
Oh.
I would consent to,
Okay.
I mean, my only question is, at what point do we go into litigation with it? And I think that would be something that we want to get the details on. I think it's almost cruel and unusual punishment that is happening right now, and I'm really beyond disappointed, and it's time to move forward actively.
yeah, I think if you can bring it back the next meeting, what our options are. I think it's been very clear.
Yes, I'll work closely with Will and Tracy and get all the facts and be able to come back and bring you some next steps for your consideration.
All right. Thank you. Anything else, Will?
Nothing further. Thank you.
Okay. That will bring us to our council member items and report. John, we'll start with you.
Thank you. Yeah, you
Oh,
did.
did I?
skip-
I'm sorry. I did. Oh, God.
You're not
yeah.
having a good day today, Mayor.
I'm telling you, this emergency stuff does not do me well.
So the item, council, that I have on your agenda today is the announcement of an executive session. Just a little bit of background very quickly is whenever you meet outside of the public, there is an exception in the Sunshine Law that first requires me to make an announcement that we're going to do this. And then the day of the meeting, we actually announce it again so that it is very transparent as to what's going on and behind closed doors outside of the purview of the public. So in that regard, if you recall at your last meeting, we had an executive session scheduled, which would have been the second executive session item that I just mentioned. The first is the announcement, then is the actual executive session. We canceled that one and we rescheduled it. And so now I am going backwards and I am going to make the announcement of the new scheduled time for your consideration and approval. So this is an announcement of a request for an executive session pursuant to section 286.0118 Florida statutes for the purpose of advice and discussion of settlement negotiations related to litigation expenditures in Town of Fort Myers Beach versus White Sand Properties LLC, case number 25-CA-004261, filed in the 20th Judicial Circuit in and for Lee County, Florida, and scheduling the executive session on October the 20th, 2025 at 3 p.m. or shortly thereafter at 6231 Estero Boulevard, Fort Myers Beach. The requested executive session will begin at 3 o'clock and is expected to last no longer than 1 hour. This executive session will take place at Town Hall at the 6231 Estero Boulevard address. Only the following individuals will be present and allowed to participate during the executive session. That would be Mayor Dan Allers, Vice Mayor Jim Adderholt, Council Members John King, Karen Woodson, and Scott Safford, Town Manager Will McKinney, Town Attorneys, you can have a bunch of us, myself, Nancy Stuprich, Becky Vose, who would be participating by Zoom, Chloe Berriman, Paul Waters, who would also be participating by Zoom, and a court reporter from Dines Court Reporting. So during this executive session, there would only be discussion regarding this particular case, no other items, and any possible settlement negotiations or litigation strategy. Once the executive session has concluded, you would go back into a public setting, at which time, if there is any potential settlement offered, that settlement offer would be made public and not behind closed doors. So with that said, I would just really need your approval to have it on the October 20th at 3 p.m.
I have no objection to it. Counselor King,
Works for me.
Vice Mayor Hall.
I have no objection, but just out of curiosity, if you can comment, what is the nature of these delays?
Delays or
Extensions?
this one was because at the last meeting, if you recall, the court reporter was not present. So we had to reschedule it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Counselor Woodson,
It's on my calendar.
Counselor Safford.
For the record, I'm going to recuse myself on this. So when do you have to be notified now or? the
No,
day of?
at the day of is fine.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. Anything else? I know item B has been removed, but is there anything else that you would like to?
No, we are working diligently with staff the last couple days on this code enforcement issues and just really trying to streamline the process as best as we can with the resources that we have.
Okay, very good. Now, Counselor King.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Last Thursday, the MRF committee met, and I wanted to bring forward some concerns that they had about dogs running on the beach unleashed. And one of the things that they asked for is more dog signs at the beach access points to let folks know that their animals, dogs should be on a leash. They also thought that maybe adding language to the short-term rentals contracts would help facilitate and educate folks on that. So if that's something we could look into, that would be a plus. And there was a concern about enforcement, how enforcement is handled. Are we issuing warnings first? Are we tracking citations along those lines? So to help alleviate the issues.
Yeah. Can, yes, Tom, because I got
Please.
a call yesterday from a resident specifically about this that was, and they did tell me they were able to get a hold of Tom.
Good
Of
morning,
Tom.
all. Thomas Yazzo, Emergency Services Director for Mars Beach. I did handle that yesterday. It was a couple who were intoxicated down at the southern end of the island, and they had their dogs out there running. They were approached by numerous residents, had a ranger, located them, advised them. So that's the process. Initially, we go, we make contact, we advise them of what the law is. If we have a repeat offender, then we get the deputies involved. The deputies are with us now on a regular basis. They even hop into the UTV sometimes with us because they actually have the authority to do a forced stop. Rangers do not have the authority to do a forced stop. They can stop, they can talk to people, they can ask for compliance. With the deputy with us, then we can do a forced stop, do an interview, get some information, and go from there. So that's been our process since I've been here for the last 3 years. And to be very clear, with the dog complaints, I was with the commander, Layler, last week. We went over what we've had as far as complaints. There's been 14 documented complaints that they've dealt with on the beach. All have been handled by talking to the owners. No citations were issued for the LCSO. We handle probably I would say maybe 3 to 4 a month where people have the dog off and we go and talk to them and they put the dog on a leash.
Thank you.
Just real quick, Tom, sorry, but we should have asked this before you left away, because I wasn't exactly sure how to direct them. When this resident reached out to me, they said the dog was being very aggressive with them and with some other people. I directed them to call the Lee County Sheriff's Office first before they tried to reach out to you. I mean, if the dog's being aggressive,
Yeah,
as you said, you guys.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we'll get somebody, we're usually closer, so we try to get somebody there as soon as possible. And if it's a public safety issue where we have to intervene, then the ranger will intervene and get between the dog and any civilians. But, you know, LCSO is always gets the call right next. If it comes to us first, then I call them. If it goes to them, then I usually get a phone call from somebody, whatever deputy's working on the beach or one of the watch commanders.
Well, that's kind of, I mean, I certainly don't want someone to get between. I've been between two angry dogs, and I would,
So have I.
it's not a good, you don't usually,
You
you're not on the
still
winning end of
have
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I still have the scars too. Yeah, absolutely. So
Is your team equipped to be able to pepper spray or something to be able to defend yourselves?
They have nets with them, which they can use as a shield in that manner if they had to. They carry the nets because we recover any sick and injured animals on the beach for that
yeah,
too.
okay.
So are they equipped with pepper spray? No, that's not. That would be something that we would have to have further discussion on, what you would approve for our people to carry and have to go through legal. I would like to outfit them with some stuff, but that's another discussion.
Well, I think it's just, I would want to have that discussion.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want you guys putting yourselves, you sometimes are the first people out there.
Yes, sir.
And want to make sure you got the tools you need to react if you have to.
Thank you.
Understood, Mr. Mayor. I'll have that discussion. And Councilor King, Jeff Hauge, our Community Services Director, did talk to me already, but he's getting ready to start renovating many of our beach accesses, and the signage is something that he has talked to me about, and getting some of the signs back out there that clearly articulate that issue, among other things that are allowed or not allowed in our beaches. So we'll get on that. He's already working it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Anything else?
Just briefly as I can be, I attended a board of directors meeting for the Florida League of Cities Friday and Saturday. Went through a new board member orientation. Learned a lot of what the Florida League of Cities can offer this town. I know we had issues with FMIT and couldn't make it work this go around, but there are other avenues out there of interest that I'm going to sit down with the town manager and explore that may be a benefit to the town. So looking forward to those conversations. And September is budget month, so we approved a budget for the Florida League of Cities as well, which was interesting. So thank you.
All right. Vice Mayor,
I wasn't going to have an item, but then I saw Chad sitting so patiently out into the audience. Chad, would you come up and give us an update on the vegetation planting going on throughout our lovely beach?
Smooth shaven, slick Willie.
Yes, sir. Morning, Chad Schutz, environmental staff. So we're moving down. They're moving pretty quickly. Everybody's amazed at how quickly they're getting the plants in. Most of the island has planted the low profile, which is 15% sea oats, mostly like 50% bitter panicum, and then railroad vine and dune daisies for some color pop. Right now they're out in front of the Margaritaville area and getting that planted. So far we've planted from Bowditch to Crescent Park, and then jumped around a little bit to the south end and planted from just south of Wyndham all the way to Island's End. Those are the two big chunks, and then interspersed around like I Street and the avenues there where properties have participated in the program. We've been educating people, getting with the vendors, and making sure they have enough room for their tractors to go in and out of their properties, as well as property owners to make sure they have the accesses where they want them, how they want them. Not sure what other questions you'd like
Well,
me to go
Chad,
into.
talk a little bit about, use the term low profile. So there's 4 vegetation options, is that correct?
Yes, sir. So the sea oats are the tallest of the plants with their seeds. They'll get up to 5, maybe 6 feet tall, but then they shed them come October, November, and property owners can snip the panicle stem, and that'll grow back the next season. So that's why they call it the higher profiles with the heavy sea oats. I think 75% sea oats. That's what the county went with. Sea oats are renowned for being dune builders and being pretty hardy.
This concept, Chad, of we had a nice emergency berm initially after Ian, and obviously we had additional hurricanes that did some damage to that emergency berm. Talk a little bit about how that vegetation could help rebuild that emergency berm.
Sure. So both the sea oats and the bitter panicum, the grasses, they spread out, they catch sand. The wind blows with the sand whenever it's drier out, and that sand drops down, and just over time with the fair weather waves and winds, the dune and sand will build, and those grasses with their rhizomes will keep on growing above the sand and building that sand. We built those berms in some areas 3 times over since Ian. So it is disappointing that some of the areas are still on grade after we thought that we would be building on top of a 6-foot elevated dune. But with those plants in and the rains that we're getting, they will get established. And as long as we stay off the dunes and let them grow, they will catch the sand and continue to build the dunes.
I had somebody ask me the other day, is there anything they could do to help these plantings? In other words, water them, or you just assume let nature take its course? Is that what you're advising folks?
Yeah, let nature take its course. They put a little gel with hydration and fertilizer in there that will help these plants get established. They're pretty tried and true. Earth Balance is well known in the dune planting realm, doing what they do well. And the best thing is just to stay off of them. We'll be out there putting out stakes to mark the accesses, as well as to, every so often along the lines, just to remind people to stay off the dunes. We can try and get some signs out there as budget allows, and just in general educate. Right now it's not too heavily trafficked, but they are coming.
And could you just explain, folks have asked me, what is the maturity level of the plants being planted, and when will they reach full maturity? How long will it take before they?
The maturity level, we got the 4-inch liners, which we got some pretty mature plants out of the nursery. I'm not sure how long it took to grow those 4 inches, but it's not the 1 inch that you would typically see out there. We got the mature plants as well as some 1 gallon sea oats, which I think takes on the order of months for them to reach pure full maturity. I guess it depends on what you mean by that. They'll be well established after this rainy season, but it will still be interspersed. It will still look a little bit bare in between the plants, and it'll take a few rainy seasons for it to really look like it's a mature dune. And then as those roots get more established, they will be more resilient to overwashes and erosional events where the roots are able to hang on. If you look over the 5,000 block where we do have some established dunes after Ian, those did bounce back pretty quickly, but those dunes are old and the roots are deep, so they held on a little bit better.
Last question, and this is just a ballpark question because I certainly don't expect you to know the individual number, but this is a massive effort. And could you have a rough idea of how many plantings are being planted on Fort Myers Beach as a part of this renourishment? Ballpark?
Oh, tens of thousands, if not over 100,000, I believe. I'd have to go and take a look. Definitely tens of thousands of plants. And we're working with property owners if they want more plants. We do have the funding, thanks to the state and the TDC with their support. We can offer additional plantings if property owners want them. So please get in touch with staff and let us know what you're thinking. We're happy to work with you on making sure that you have the access that you want and the protection that you need to protect your property.
That's great. Appreciate your efforts.
You're welcome.
Don't run off, just quick piggyback on that. So is that any property owner or only property owners that were part of the renourishment project?
Well, it's part the renourishment project plus we also, so we have the project which is from Bowditch to Lanark and then also the southern CWA area. But we planted properties, we asked properties for an easement even outside of our renourishment project proper if they wanted plantings. And then if people did not sign their easement, we're not going to plant it. But there have been people reaching out saying, hey, I didn't want to sign the easement, but how do I get plants? And we've been facilitating that. So that's also been a positive sign.
And when do you expect this whole project, the planning project, to be done? Weather permitting, obviously.
With the original contract, by the end of October, I think is a safe bet. They're moving pretty quickly, if not sooner. We may have some opportunities to do some additional plantings that the property owners want, and that may extend it a little bit, but it's amazing how quickly they're moving. So I'm confident we can finish up pretty quickly.
Thanks, Chad.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Anything else, Vice Mayor? All right, Council Whitson?
So I have a question on the light at Old San Carlos and Estero. So the last I had heard was that FDOT or whoever's in charge of the lights, when they were working on the bridge lights, like coming off the bridge in both directions, they would also be working on the Estero and Old San Carlos light, and there's zero action going on that. And as we get into season, I mean, that is a unbelievably busy intersection with people coming on and off the beach and Times Square and the park. And I'm just wondering if there's any update on that at all?
You want to talk about the latest FDOT update? I'm sorry.
Well,
I wasn't.
isn't that the light that we have the interlocal agreement with the county?
That is correct. And I know that they had put it up for bid for electrical. They're going to have to raise that where that transformer is. We also used part of that transformer for the lights in Times Square. So they were looking at the feasibility of lifting that off the ground just a tad. And then also their electrical equipment that operate that light where it sat basically at 4 feet. Now they want to lift that up as well. But I believe after talking to Mr. Price about a month ago, that already had gone out for bid or was just about ready to go out for bid for a company to come in and take care of that.
Yeah,
I believe that's the last traffic light that they have left to do. And then they're going to coordinate that, like you said, with the project that they're doing.
Yeah, I thought I was always under the impression that all the lights would go functional at the same time.
Mhm.
So it'd be nice to
That's
get
why
an
I was
update, yeah.
asking.
So
because
one
there's
was
been
being
no work
controlled by
done.
FDOT and the other one is going to be controlled by Lee County or Lee Dot. But they are going to coordinate eventually.
All right.
Stay there.
That's all I have.
All right. Counselor Safford?
So it's almost a follow-up question about not the stoplights, but the lighting situation in downtown. With season coming up, there's still a lot of concern about how dark it is down there at night. Do we have an update as to when we're going to get permanent lights down there? And if as a follow-up question to that, if we're not going to get it by season, is there a plan to have some temporary lighting just for safety?
So on the first question, that is currently being done with the CDBGR. We have a possibility of taking from Bayside Park all the way to that stoplight area north of Estero. That's all on basically 2 circuits. That is going to be happening here pretty quick. I think we just got the approval to put our RFQ out, or we're in the process of doing so within the next week from the county. It's different from the other ones because it doesn't have to go through a whole design phase. We know that we're roughly 28 poles missing. The biggest thing is having a licensed contractor that'll come in there and at least do a design conduit build. We know that the conduit has to be replaced in all new wiring through that whole corridor. To your second part of your question, I think over the last couple of years, we've kind of accented that downtown area with some light standards, those type of things. And I'm sure that's probably the route that we're going to be continuing with until we get going on this project. It should be probably the quickest project once it does get bid, because you're basically getting an electrical contractor in here to run new cable, new conduit, and poles. We have the fixtures, so.
Can I piggyback on that real quick, Scott? Because sure, since we're talking about lighting, isn't it, it's my understanding that the lighting part of it, the electrical part is on the town to make sure that's operational for when they come through with the overall lighting project. But the actual installation of the fixtures and the poles is part of the contract that we have for the greater Estero Island lighting project, correct?
The fixtures, yes. The poles, because we at some point, long before any of us kind of got mixed into it, they were going to go back to the decorative style. So that's kind of what got put into the RFQ for the CDBGR. So it's the same thing. It has to meet the wind standard, I think of 150 miles an hour, those type of things. We're working with Chris Powell, who is running the town lighting project for Aspire. We have weekly talks with him, and he's given us great contacts to put into our bid packages for poles, things like that. But the fixtures are definitely being taken care of by that Aspire program.
So did Chris and his team include just even the standard poles that we're seeing going up on Estero Boulevard now?
No.
Have they included any poles, or are they
No,
leaving it up to us?
no,
to get
because
poles?
the poles that they're putting on Estero are different. They're the art style.
Right.
The ones they did through the community are more of the cement upright style. That is not what we're planning on using or putting back on North Estero. And to kind of tie that in, we also have a FEMA project on top of the CDBGR project. So with the cross section of funds, we have to use FEMA and that program, and then we supplement it with the CDBGR funds. So for FEMA, we put back like for like.
I think what you meant is Old San Carlos, not North Estero, right?
We're going to North Estero
Right.
on Old San
From Bayside
Carlos.
Park. So I guess let me be a little more clear. In the scope of work through Chris Powell and his teams, in their budget, was it budgeted to put poles in on whatever the decorative poles are? I understand that the concrete one, but it was my understanding that in the contract that we signed with them to do all of Estero Boulevard and the side streets, that the poles were included. They may not be the poles that ultimately we'll have there, but the poles were included to be able to get the lights up, because
Yes.
the last
That was
meeting I
part
was listening in on, they still sound like the first 2 weeks of November, they're planning on having the entire project done. Is that still the case, or I wasn't on last Friday, so I
Yes,
didn't get the
that
answer.
is correct. I mean, that was part of the original bid package. You are correct, sir.
And would that then include, are we going to be able to, through this RFQ, are we going to be able to have our portion of it ready for them to finish on time?
I would like to give you an answer at that, but until we actually get that thing out for viewing, it's been kind of going back and forth like a ping pong ball between us and the county for the last couple of weeks. Until that goes out, I cannot give you a certain date on that, sir.
Well, that's a little disturbing. I mean, we've had 2 years of working through this and we still haven't put it out and we've known about the issue. That's the problem I have. Last thing I want is that's the most heavily trafficked area we have. And it seems to be the last part that's getting fixed. And that's the part that needs the lights the most, but we're not paying any attention to that. It seems like, at least to me. And I would hope that there was a way, maybe we can work with Nancy to figure out a way to streamline this or speed it up. I would hate for FPL's team to finish and then have to remobilize and come back because we weren't ready for them when they got there. So if there's anything we could do, Will, to make sure that we're ready when we show up. They've got enough challenges already with poles in people's driveways and things. I don't want us to be a reason that they can't finish the project and we go through another season without having lights there if they're done with their part of the project.
I agree. We'll do everything we can.
Sorry, I didn't mean to Shanghai your.
You pitched it well, my friend. That's how I feel as well. I mean, it's just, public, it's always been about public safety, and we've got to have correct lighting, especially in the downtown area. It's just a must.
Yeah, like I said, Old San Carlos aside, it sounds like they're still on course to be done the first 2 weeks of November for at least Estero Boulevard and the side streets. I think the last update I heard was they were waiting for permitting to be approved for the substations, FPL was.
What they're doing now is our building official, Joe Speck, is actually going out and verifying that the hookups are correct on their little sub
So they can
as they
start
move
testing.
along. Right.
Okay.
So as soon as they get them up and going, I just got an email this morning that they have another batch, and Joe puts that on his schedule and he goes out and checks that off.
Very good. Thanks, Frankie.
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
Thank you, Frankie. That's all I have. Thank you.
I've just got couple quick things based on, and this is maybe for Jeff. Are we going to be putting the Moby mats back out or have they been put back out as we're coming into season? Again, a lot of people have been asking about, is that part of the signage and what Will was talking about earlier?
Yeah, it's part of the process. We're working on getting pilings and rope, the Moby mats, and then the signs we'd ordered. We needed ones for all of the beach accesses, the ones that say, the rules and regulations of the beach access, no dogs off leash, that kind of thing. So we're actively putting them out there. Once we do, I talked to Nicole, our PIO, about getting those accesses listed, which ones have Moby mats, and also the access of our ADA wheelchair, beach chair.
And then, great, that's good. And since we're up there, if anybody hasn't had a chance to go check out Bay Oaks Field and how that's coming along I encourage you to at least drive through there. Do we have an opening date as far as when the pickleball courts are going to be done? But I see the trees are all up, down. The path looks nice. The grass is coming in great. I don't know. I didn't pay that close attention to where are we at with FPL and getting those electrical stanchions out of there that were there for the old trailers to be able to finish that.
The electrical stanchions are out of there. We
they
kept
are.
one just for future use. We're gonna kind of cap it and bury it a little bit more, but we did keep one that we can energize for any future use. But yeah, the park is coming along. They hydro seeded it. They do have to do one more hydro seed once rainy season's out because it has some washout and the birds are sure loving the hydro seed. So, but yeah, the park it's almost complete. We had to let the asphalt dry on the pickleball courts for about 20 days before we could paint them. So we're getting close to that. We do have a company that's going to be doing it. They're ready to go once the asphalt is set. And then the fences will also go up for the pickleball courts. But yeah, we have a nice walking path. The trees look phenomenal down there. Thanks, Chad, to him and his team too, to organize that and get those put in. But it's looking great. Right now we just put palm trees in. Our next batch will put some shade trees in once we find out where we're going to put the picnic areas for Bay Oaks. But yeah, it's coming along. I think there's a story on Wink right now about it. I don't know if it was actually aired or just on their website, but I did see it was on there. So we got some good press that way. And yeah, we're just plugging along.
And on that note, it looks great. You guys are doing a great job getting that done. Again, if you haven't had a chance to go drive by, at least take a look at it and see it. You're amazed at how big that area really is once you have all the buildings and the debris and all the garbage out of there. I did have a resident reach out about the bench program that we've always had. They're interested in purchasing a bench. Could you tell them who they can reach out to directly to talk about that? As well as, is there an opportunity to be able to put those memorial benches along the walk path there for people that maybe wanted to walk and take a break?
Yeah, we have about a holding pattern of about maybe 5 that we've been contacting now that the process is being done. So I think we just between Deb and I, we've ordered I think 5 new ones that requested Bay Oaks. So we can do that, and then I think beach accesses. I hope we can put some at once the vegetation is done. But they can contact me. Jeff or Jay Hauge at FMBGOV.com and request a bench, and I'll get whatever they need. So
Very good. Thanks, Jeff. I do not have anything else.
Any more words of Rawhide's Gil favor? Head them up, move them out, move to adjourn.
Is there any opposition? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none.